she is changing. And I intend to find her before the world does.
So, production on Wednesday Season 3 has already hit a major bump in the road because Ava Green, who just joined the cast as Aunt Ophelia, suffered a pretty nasty leg injury that shut down filming in Dublin, and now the whole schedule is being rearranged to accommodate her recovery. But that's just the tip of the iceberg with the show right now, because there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on that's got fans seriously worried about where this series is headed. And the thing is, a bunch of fans are already saying Season 3 is gonna be boring, just like they felt about Season 2, because apparently only the first season was good enough that it went viral and got all that fame, and now Tim Burton is just cashing off from it. So it's looking like Season 3 is the season of worrying, if we're being real critics about this whole situation. Let's start with where we are with this production situation, because it's pretty concerning. Wednesday Season 3 was confirmed last summer, with production getting underway in the UK back in February. But then, per The Sun, filming in Dublin, Ireland was reportedly paused when Ava Green suffered that injury to her leg earlier this month. And it sounds like it was pretty serious, because a source told the publication that this was really nasty and that Green was clearly in pain, so producers were taking no chances. Medics were called, she went to the hospital, underwent treatment, and is now recovering well, which is good news, but it still threw a wrench into everything. And here's the thing that makes this even more complicated. Green's character Ophelia Frump has clearly been set up to play an interesting role in Wednesday Season 3, because Season 2 ended with a revelation that Ophelia is being kept in a cell in Hester's mansion, and the character is shown from behind scrawling "Wednesday must die" in blood on the wall. So she's not just some minor character, she's a major player in whatever's coming next, which means any injury that affects her filming schedule could have a real impact on the overall quality and timeline of the show. Even though Green is now on the mend, production had to be rearranged to accommodate her treatment and recovery, and that always creates complications. It's unclear how this may have impacted the filming timeline, but it sounds like they managed by bringing up scenes without Green and shooting those earlier, with her scenes pushed to later when she's recovered. Representatives from Netflix or the series haven't commented on this yet, so there's still a lot of uncertainty about what actually happened to Green and what kind of impact it will have on the show. Her injury could have happened during an action sequence, or maybe it occurred during something far more routine, but in any case, it's a reminder of just how dangerous film sets can be. Earlier this year, Hunter Doohan revealed that filming on Wednesday Season 3 would take place in Dublin and that it would take around 7 or 8 months. And the show typically is in post-production for an additional 8 months after filming wraps, which puts Season 3 on track for a Netflix release next spring or early summer. But this injury situation could potentially push that timeline back, and fans are already worried enough as it is. So let's move on to the big creative news that's got everyone talking. Wednesday Season 3 is changing genres, and that's both exciting and worrying for pretty much the same reason. Because the show is steering away from that dark academia high school drama thing it had going on, and instead it's turning into this globe-trotting mystery adventure. Wednesday's leaving Nevermore behind and heading out with Uncle Fester to find Enid, who's permanently stuck in her alpha werewolf form and headed toward the Canadian border. And then they're apparently going even further, because Netflix confirmed Wednesday will make a stopover in Paris, France. Now, I get why expanding the show's horizons sounds appealing, because there's only so many mysteries you can solve in one creepy boarding school before it starts feeling repetitive. But it's a real danger of the show losing something vital too, and that's what's got people worried. The thing about Wednesday's charm is that so much of it comes from that creepy gothic boarding school setting, because throwing a bunch of misfits together in a school specifically designed for misfits, watching them grow and make friends, and occasionally stab each other in the back has been such a treat to watch. Even though Wednesday will tell anyone who listens that she prefers being alone, there's something undeniably compelling about watching her learn to work with other people who are wildly different from her. And her friendship with Enid is the perfect example of this. Because would those two have become as close if they'd never been roommates in Nevermore's attic? Probably not. That forced proximity is a fundamental part of the show's structure, and it's what has allowed Wednesday to grow as a character. But if she's left largely to her own devices out in the world, there's a danger that her character development could just stall completely. Sure, she'll have Uncle Fester, and she'll undoubtedly meet new people on the way to Canada and Paris, but when the option to just leave is always there, what can she really learn? And who's going to challenge her in the same way Enid and the other Nevermore students did? At the same time though, expanding Wednesday's horizon could genuinely revitalize the series too, because a high school story only has so many seasons to give. At a certain point, the students will move on, and only a handful of shows actually survive the shift to college. Wednesday's genre peer Buffy the Vampire Slayer was one of the lucky few that managed it, but that's pretty rare. So by establishing a world outside Nevermore now, before the students try on their caps and gowns for the first time, Wednesday is giving itself room to become something completely new and experiment with different types of mysteries. And the bigger scope also gives other Wednesday characters a chance to be in the spotlight. Even though this will always be Wednesday's show, her family members are just as intriguing, and one of the best parts of Season 2 was the introduction of Joanna Lumley's Grandma Hester Frump. Plus, Ava Green is joining Wednesday Season 3 as Wednesday's missing aunt, Ophelia, which is cracking open a whole new side of the Addams family's mysterious history and giving Catherine Zeta-Jones's Morticia someone to spar with other than Wednesday. Nevermore has proven to be a great way to establish Wednesday's supernatural aspects and tone, and it provided Wednesday Addams with a contained, relatively safe environment to hone her investigative skills and psychic gifts. But now in Season 3 and potentially beyond, she can truly spread her raven-like wings and become the supernatural detective powerhouse she was always meant to be. So fans are having a lot of opinions about all of this, and a bunch of them are already criticizing that Season 3 is gonna be predictable and boring just like they felt Season 2 was. Because apparently there weren't any iconic moments from Season 2 that went viral the way the first season had, and things are just not looking that great for the show right now. And you know what? I can see where they're coming from, because there is this sense that Tim Burton might just be cashing in on the show's success without actually putting in the same creative energy that made the first season so special. The first season went viral for a reason, because it had those memorable moments that got people talking. The dance scene, the mystery, the twist, all of that stuff that made it feel fresh and exciting. But Season 2 didn't quite capture that same magic for a lot of people, and now with Season 3 making these big changes, there's a real fear that it could lose even more of what made it great. The production delays and injury issues are just adding to that anxiety, because when a show starts having problems behind the scenes, it often shows up on screen. And with Green being such an important addition to the cast, any issues with her scenes could impact the overall quality of the season. And that wraps up today's video. If you want to stay in the loop with all the latest movie and series news, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a big thumbs up, because I'll be bringing you more updates on upcoming movies before they even drop, so keep an eye out for that along with the latest on your other favorite shows and movies. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.